Maybe you've been wondering when the best time to buy an electric vehicle is going to be. You might have watched the video where I told you guys to wait. Well, it looks like the bill is about to get passed and a lot of money is going to be available to you and to save you a bunch of money. So let's talk about it. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Talking Mods. Now, some of you guys may have watched the previous video where I said, hey, it might be time to wait. Might be time to wait for the EV tax credit that was talked about, the money that you could have gotten. But a lot of new information has come out. There is updates coming up, and I will be updating you guys as the situation develops. But before we jump into that, guys, why am I covering this? Because I'm the CEO of Mod Bargains. We work with Teslas, we modify them, we put up wheels on them, we do all kinds of body kits, a lot of great stuff with suspension, and not just Teslas, all vehicles. So if you guys are looking for car modifications, Mod Bargains is the place to go, and that was my shameless plug. All right, guys. So a lot of you guys have been waiting to hear information about what's happening with the EV tax credit. You've been waiting probably because it's a big amount of savings for all of us. And it looks like things are passing through. So what ended up happening was the original bill back in May, which when I presented it, has been taken away with the social spending bill. So the social spending bill is $3.7 trillion. Now, it's been bundled in there because there's a lot of other bigger factors that are going in there. And we're talking about child tax credit, infrastructure financing, Obamacare, and then the Clean Energy Act is within it. So I think what they figured out was, hey, we can just put it in, bundle it in, and we're going to have 645 pages of information, and maybe not everyone's going to pay attention to it so closely. I don't know if maybe that was the case, but that's how they're doing it. They're just doing one big bill to pass through. So towards the end of August, the House pushed it through. And as of Friday, September 10th, 2021, the House Ways and Means Committee has passed it through. So it's going in to go get voted on. The big date, there's two big dates actually. The preliminary date is September 15th, but the big date where the bill is supposed to get passed through is September 27th. So the House, primarily Democrat, is expecting it to pass through. But let's dissect it. Let's go into what you're saving and how it's changed, because it's changed a lot since last time I presented it. If you haven't watched that video, that's okay, because I'm going to present all the information that's happening now. So first off, what they're going to be doing is they're removing the entire 200,000 vehicles that's needed by the manufacturer's cap. So if you guys remember this started a long time ago. This is back when Obama was president. There was a cap, 200,000 per manufacturer. Once that cap was hit, each manufacturer could not get this tax credit for them, right? So Tesla obviously was the first one to get it, and it was like $7,500. It was a ton of money. By the time the Tesla Model 3 had come out, like the very first couple models got it, but then after that, nobody really got it afterwards. GM got it, achieved it with the Bolt and the Volt. And now there's no manufacturer's cap. So they're using a timeline basis because they're basically becoming this Nostradamus of predicting the future, that the United Nations basically said, code red for humanity. Climate change is happening and we have to act now within the next 10 years. And that's exactly the timeline that they're looking at, the next 10 years. So the United States, in the next 10 years, we have to change into clean air vehicles, especially EVs. And that's kind of the way it's being pushed through the House and across even the infrastructure that's needed. That's the way this entire bill is being pushed through. So what does that mean? That means in the first 5 years, everyone can qualify. Now this is very critical here. The very first 5 years, everyone can qualify. And it's $7,500 that anybody who makes an EV qualifies for this. The second half, the next 5 years, is only US vehicles. Key point here. Only US manufactured vehicles would get this. So really and again, this is all within the United States. I don't know what's going to happen in other countries. It could happen in other countries because again, the United Nations, warning could be something that's used in other governments across. But again, here in the United States, what they're doing is they're trying to incentivize U.S. manufacturing on the second half of the 5 years. So this is for 10 years. If you plan to get an EV that's a U.S. manufactured, you could qualify for the 7,500. There's more to it, but now the first 5 years, everyone qualifies. So Mercedes can get in on the act, especially Mercedes. It's actually really critical because just about a week or two ago, they released a bunch of great electric vehicles, which I'm super excited about. Right, the EQS, the sedan, looks beautiful. The EQE, the E series, that looks great, and the EQB, the SUV. So, and you know when Mercedes is going full-fledged into this, and if you didn't know, Tesla's bare bones and all their supply most of it came from Mercedes, guys. So if you didn't know that, well, there's some information. Now, not everything, because Tesla uses some of their cheaper quality, but I think you're going to end up getting a lot higher quality parts. We'll see what happens, obviously, what ends up happening in the electric vehicle, the battle that's to come. So for the next 5 years, you can get 7,500. Now, let's jump into where else there's additional incentives. So now, if the electric vehicle's battery components, at least 50% of it is made within the US, you would qualify for another $500. So Teslas, especially Tesla batteries, they're made here in the US, so you get another 500. So now it's actually 8,000 for a Tesla or any other vehicle that is doing so where their batteries are made here. Great incentive. Now here's the big one. This is the one that becomes a little bit more controversial. If the vehicle is assembled by union workers, okay, United States union workers, then you get an additional $4,500. Tesla wouldn't qualify for this. Now this has created a huge uproar, especially by Elon Musk. As of last night, Elon Musk responded to this $4,500, obviously ticked off because Tesla wouldn't qualify for it because they don't use union workers, right? So Ford and the United Automotive Workers, they would get it, right? And there are lobbyists who push for that. So Ford, GM would qualify for it, but Elon Musk was basically quick to point out, hey, they're using factories out in Mexico. They're not even making their EVs here. So it's become a very controversial thing because he's not paying for union workers, even though he employs U.S.-based employees, and Teslas wouldn't qualify for 4,500. So believe me, that's become a very big uproar because Elon Musk is pissed, and we'll see what happens with that part of it. But again, it feels and it looks like the big three, the Ford, GM, Chrysler, would get the big benefit of it. Chrysler doesn't really have much in the EV market except the Fiat, which is garbage, unless you need a really, really cheap car. Anyway, that's not important, but they're getting the big benefit of the $4,500. That's a big controversy. We'll see what happens on that front. So if you're going to buy a Tesla, you'd basically qualify for $8,000. That's awesome. Why not? Not the $12,000 that we were looking at before, but $8,000. And the best part of this, it's not going to be exactly a tax credit. It's going to be a point of sale refund. That's a big critical factor here. A point of sale refund. So it's a discount a line item, not a tax credit. I want to be very clear with that. Now, a couple little changes. I know there is a new Tesla that's being talked about,
and manufacture a compelling $25,000 electric vehicle. So
a smaller one. I don't know what the battery size is, but basically any smaller EVs, right, electric vehicles that are 40 kilowatt or less would only qualify for $4,000. Okay, so keep in mind. So if you're going for that smaller vehicle, it's only going to be $4,000. And then on some of the other changes, there is a limit on the vehicle pricing. And I think this is a very important part. You got to pay attention to this because if you surpass it, you wouldn't qualify for the discount. Hopefully the dealers are clear about it, but sedans are going to have to be at max 55,000. So Model 3s would definitely qualify. The Mach-E, the Ford Mach-E would qualify. I think that's great. SUVs have to be within $69,000. So they have to stay within $69,000. If it surpasses it, you wouldn't qualify for it. So I imagine Model Ys are going to fly off the shelf with that. Pickup trucks would be $74,000, which is awesome, especially if you're thinking about a Cybertruck, the F-150 Lightning. That one is going to be awesome. So that's another great one. So vans have to be within under $54,000. Now another interesting caveat, I don't know how they're going to be checking this, since this is going to be a instant discount. Again, not a tax credit, an instant discount. So very important, because you're getting this right off the bat, right? So I'm not sure how they're going to be checking this, but they want to qualify it for individually, that you don't make over $400,000, then you would qualify. And if you as a joint, household, you make over 800. If you make over 800,000, you wouldn't qualify. So 800,000 below, you qualify. 400,000 below, you qualify. I think that's the majority of us would qualify for this. Obviously, if you are in that upper echelon, I'm not sure how they're going to be checking this. It just seems like that part of it I don't think will work, but we shall see. A couple of pretty interesting information there. So to pay attention to. Now, you guys are probably wondering, when is this going to happen? Because I get this question all the time. Every comment, and please guys, put your comments down below, because it's important. I try to respond to you guys as soon as I can. And you guys are probably wondering, when is this going to happen? That's the number one question. Should I wait? Should I wait? They are saying 2022. So the beginning of next year, if this passes, the beginning of next year. So if you can't wait, just go buy the car. Okay? If you can't wait and you need a car, buy your car. But if you can wait and save that extra money, and if this passes, obviously, right? If this passes and you can wait, the expected date is the beginning of 2022. All right? I will update you guys when that happens. I will give you guys a follow-up video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so you don't miss the content that's being released. It always helps us out. But again, for particularly on this subject, we're looking at the September 27th. We'll be watching to see what happens. And that's the timeline, guys. I will see you guys on the next Talking Mods.